Okay, let's move to football. Who do you think wins it from the Final Four? Who do you think takes it home, Michael?
Well, I certainly believe Kansas City will. If Patrick Mahomes is, 75% himself,
right?
I still the only thing I probably got right this season was thinking that Buffalo was the second best team in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't get a lot of other stuff right. I don't in the NFC, man. It's how do you just bet against Tom Brady?
I don't know.
The one thing I think is working in Green Bay's favor is the same thing that worked in Tampa's favor last week. I mean, I didn't think that anybody was going to beat Tom Brady 3 straight times. I don't care how good New Orleans appeared to be. Mm-hmm. I was not taking New Orleans to beat or anybody to beat Brady a third straight time. So that is what is working against Tampa this time. Even though it's not 2 victories, it's the one. The way they beat the Packers when they beat them this year. Whose hair is going to be on fire more than Aaron Rodgers coming off that loss, remembering that defeat? It's Bruce Arians' job, and of course Tom Brady will take some of that on himself, to remind those guys that victory meant nothing. Just like to me, the failure of the Saints, as great a coach as Sean Payton is, the failure of the Saints was to understand that their 2 wins meant nothing. And I don't know, they couldn't convey that. They had a lot of casual plays. The tight ends fumble late in the game where it looked like the Saints were going to drive down and maybe take a 27-20 lead after the game was tied at 20. They didn't get that done. And I expect the Packers to understand that part. So if there's any edge I'm taking, and again, betting against Tom Brady is just the dumbest thing ever. But I'm gonna go narrowly, and this is child of the Midwest who hates the Packers historically and institutionally as a Bear fan, as only a Bear fan does. I've had my football life made miserable by people in Green Bay uniforms. So I understand that culture. I'm going with the Packers.
Well, Michael, this game is so amazing and so rife with legacy talk, as we like to do, with Brady and Rodgers. That for me, I can't wait, because the narrative for Rodgers that at age 37, his response to the drafting of Jordan Love is just to take a few, tugs on his four fingers deep in a drink on draft night and just exhale and come up with his best season and make it to the Super Bowl and win the MVP. Or Tom Brady to basically say, okay, after 20 years, I'm going to go at age 43 to Tampa and make the Super Bowl with them and make it by going through Breeze and Rodgers. And then on top of it, I'll be the first quarterback to play in my home stadium in the Super Bowl and take care of Mahomes, too, at age 43 and just put that on the table for everybody. Like, that's in the ether right now, Michael. And you can't. Yeah. That's the flame. I'm the moth to that flame for this game and beyond, potentially, here.
Yeah, it's sort of unthinkable considering some of the losses that Tampa had during the season. Obviously the second blowout loss, when it was that game at some point 35-0.
That Sunday night game. It was. Yeah, I think they kicked a field goal just as a nice little fig leaf, Michael, in that game, I believe.
So, yeah, right. Something 3. That's right.
Right.
So I mean, that loss, the loss where Brady's holding up the 4 fingers. And when the Bears went to 5-1 or whatever, I mean that there's some bad. Those are bad losses. Those are unthinkable losses for a championship team. I keep thinking that there's a little of that in that team. Like when you see that kind of, look, Green Bay has a bad loss. They don't have 2, and remember Tampa got outplayed by the Giants on national television, a Sunday or a Monday night or a Thursday night or something.
It's a Monday night.
They got outplayed by the Giants. That would have been the most embarrassing of the losses. So part of me thinks, there's a little dog in Tampa. I don't know. Maybe they're over it. They won 5 straight, and now they've won 2. So I guess it's 6 straight they've won going into this game. So I part of me still thinks, okay, there's that. But man, doesn't that get trumped by the presence of Tom Brady? I'm going with the Packers, but I'm not going to Vegas on that one. And Patrick Mahomes and this, maybe the foot is going to be something to worry about more than the head, not the protocol part of it, but just the playing on Sunday part of it. Because Mahomes' mobility, it sets up everything he does. You know, all that wizardry, his movement. I don't mean running, obviously, like Lamar Jackson, but his movement. You need feet to move. And so I still have that image of him, you know, needing a standing 8 count after that hit he took. So we don't know. You know, the one thing that people went crazy over when predicting that, you know, Kansas City is going to win the next 5 Super Bowls. It's like, stop. It's just dumb. Because injuries in this sport are the elephant in the room. And so we don't know how Mahomes is going to be, you know, for one more Super Bowl. I hope he's as close to Patrick Mahomes as he can be so we can see Kansas City at their best.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.